Garden video log on the 19th of July 2010. Hey Heather, say hi.
Hi.
So I've just been working on
I thought you were going to get the...
clearing out the paths in between the winter squash and the potatoes here. I started clearing out the paths here between the winter squash and the tomato, but I haven't finished, and this is sort of what it looked like. Here's tonight's harvest. We've got some zucchinis, a whole bunch of cucumber, and some lettuce, which I guess we're having for salad tonight.
One radish and earlier sugar snap peas.
Oh, those all came out earlier on. These are the crazy tomato plants that have grown to the point where we've had to start researching how to trim them and make them smaller. Beans, cucumbers, beans. More crazy tomato plants. These are about 5 feet high. These are our patio tomatoes. Lots of fruit coming through on these. In fact, there's fruit on pretty much all of the tomato plants.
Don't forget sweet pumpkin.
They're all doing their thing quite nicely, and we can't wait until they ripen. We've had one tomato out of the garden already, and it was absolutely delicious. Even though it looked pretty bad, got damaged when there was a storm, but we thought we'd just eat it anyway. And it was absolutely fantastic. More squash that I cleaned up already today. The beans, which we've put onto tomato cages because they were just falling over all over the place. We tried putting them on the pussy willow sticks here, but as you can see they've gotten a little bit taller than that now.
I have one good thing to say.
Uh-huh.
The lettuce has not bolted. By being in between the tomatoes, the lettuce has managed to continue growing without getting bitter.
We had a bit of a disaster over here yesterday. There was a bit of a storm and these tomatoes all fell over, which is why they've now got the red poles in their fiberglass inside their tomato cages holding them up. More of our tomato harvest to be. Pepper plants, which haven't really done much yet, they're just sort of leafy and got some very small fruits on them. But they're just not really going for it yet, as compared to the jalapenos, which we've been harvesting, because they're growing. They're doing their thing pretty well. More of the squash problem. We cleaned that out and mulched it about less than a week ago, I think. And now it looks like that. More beds that we have cleaned out and mulched. This is more of the squash problem, and they just think that the paths and the other beds are just more places for them to grow and put down roots. Corn, sweet corn closest, and the flint corn at the back. Sunflowers in here. So these plants are over my head, and there's the first sign that we're actually getting grain on the corn. We're actually getting corn growing here now. Heather, there's corn.
Really?
Well, there's the start of it. You know, the part that comes out the top with the grain on it. You can't come in through it. Just walk over the top of it. We're going to have to cut it back anyway.
Oh no.
Piles of newspaper that we meant to use, but it's been raining. So here we have the first signs that there's actually corn happening in there.
Yeah, so that's the... What's that called? That has a name, but I've forgotten what the name is.
Tasseling.
Tasseling!
And that was a poke from Heather.
It's hard to believe we weeded these paths for mulching and they're this bad already.
So a lot of the pumpkin and squash and things have got action going on. These are all winter squash, so they're not expected to be really big at the moment. But a couple of sights to see. The giant pumpkin, which is doing the giant pumpkin thing in a couple of places. Another one down in there. Another one there, another one coming through there.
Here you can see the evidence that the newspaper and straw mulching actually works.
This is the area that didn't get mulched yet, and we're planning on hitting that with black plastic. I don't know if you can see the drainage pipe and the irrigation pipe that's down there underneath all of this grass.
The black plastic needs to go in by Thursday morning.
We haven't abandoned this corner, but it does sort of look like we have. Straw bales that went mouldy because we left them in the rain.
Just one.
One bale of straw. That enormous pile that's about up to my waist high, that Heather's going to go and stand next to just for scale. That's what I've pulled out of the squash plants today. That's one afternoon's work, probably an hour's work, to pull all that out. And then we've got the Lady Godiva pumpkin, which is the one that's good for the seeds over here. It's growing quite nicely.
Put your hand next to it.
For scale. There's my hand. Watermelon plants. They're flowering, but there's no sign of fruit on them yet.
Watermelon, rockmelon.
Rockmelon up that end, watermelon down this end. Oh, the crazy zucchini that we left for maybe a day or two too long. Bigger than my foot.
Oh, hey. Let me
The zucchini plants which we've harvested, so there's not too much in there that is impressive, but still more coming. Heather wants to show you what's about to happen to us with the cucumbers.
Oh, yes, I do want to show that. Those are the blossoms from the cucumber. And I'd just like to say that I was very pleased with myself that I managed to give away 5 cucumbers and 3 zucchini today. That's no easy feat when people are putting cucumbers out by the side of the road saying free cucumbers.
Well, that's pretty much it for today. Talk to you guys later.